Welcome to Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club, and tonight's meeting is going to be the inner work of leadership. Join us for an inspiring meeting where we are going to introspect on our lives as leaders and find out how we can be more effective when interacting with the people around us. And those of us joining us for the first time, and also to remind us who have been members for a long time, Toastmasters International is a non-profit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. Our mission is that we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which our members and members of Toastmasters are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence. Specifically here at Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club, we help Toastmasters become advanced speakers through in-depth evaluations and targeted education sessions. Every meeting is designed to challenge our skills, stretch our abilities, and equip us to deliver speeches with greater impact and confidence. At this point in time, I would like to welcome our Sergeant at Arms, Acting Sergeant at Arms, Ali Makori, to please share with us the meeting rules. Over to you, Ali. You're muted.
Sorry for the challenge. May I request just our experienced alternate, Maggie, to just flight them for me as I sort out my technology, please.
All right, no problem. I'll just go over the rules quite briefly. This meeting is actually being recorded, and so by continuing to attend this meeting, you therefore release Toastmasters International and Watabaruku Toastmasters Club in the use of your image in future, whether it is on our YouTube page. In addition to that, please keep yourself muted and unless it is your turn to speak. Whenever possible, please keep your video on to encourage our speakers and role takers and to make our meeting lively. We hope that you're going to keep joining us in future meetings. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out in the chat and engage our chat master, who is going to be Maggie Waithiru, for this meeting this evening. And finally, please remember to have an amazing time. I would like to introduce our EXCO, the EXCO of Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club. And I am Robert Karanja, DTM, the club president. And joining us this evening, we have in the call the Vice President Education, Kevin Rubia, DTM. Doctor, please greet everyone and tell us what color would best describe a woman in your life.
Wow. Orange, as it shows brightness, vividness, and love. Back to you.
There you go. Notice that even though we've learned new colors this afternoon, evening, he still went for the usual colors. We really can't help these guys. Also in our meeting, we have our Vice President membership, Gilbert. Please tell us a color that describes a woman in your life.
Yes, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests here. Gilbert is my name. Sorry, I'm struggling to unmute. Yeah, Gilbert Rutebemberwa. I am the VP, the Vice President membership. The color that I would be interested in is hot pink because it's hot. This is the month of the women, so I would dedicate it to the women. Back to you, Chair.
You really tried there. 9 points for effort to come up with a creative color. Next, we're going to have our Vice President Public Relationship, Maggie Waithiru. I'll give you the option of describing a color that describes you or any other woman.
What color describes me best is green, For me, green represents hope. And I think it's a color that represents most of the women, if not all, because we give hope to humanity. We give hope to our children. We give hope to people who don't even relate to us. So for me, the color is green.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Good job. And finally, we have in our meeting the Secretary Treasurer, Serah Wanjiku. Over to you. Same question.
The color that describes me is purple because I am loyalty. I stand out from the crowd. I am main character energy. I mean, there is no way you can miss purple wherever you go. So purple it is.
Oh my goodness. All right. Okay. We'll give you that one for this evening. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for gracing us with your presence. We submit to whatever. Fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. We also have our Sergeant at Arms who is not present, Tigis Hailu, and the immediate past president, Kevin Kimbio. I would now like to give an opportunity for those joining us for the first time at Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club. We'd really like to know where you're joining us from this evening, whether it's your first time or you're a repeat guest. And if you're comfortable enough, please answer that question that I've fielded. What color will describe a woman in your life? And if you are a woman, what color would describe you? Anybody who would like to introduce themselves?
I can introduce myself. So, Fred, I'm from Mtandao Toastmasters Club. What color would introduce a woman in my life? I think black would be the color. Why? They say black is beauty, but black, unknown to many people, is also a calm, steady, and predictable color. Thank you, and it's a pleasure being here. I think I used to come when we used to meet physically. That's like 1,000 years ago. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Fred Ojil, for joining us this evening and for educating us on that. Indeed, black is beautiful, and it is a very calm color. You can't go wrong with when you wear black. Fantastic. Anybody who'd like to introduce themselves? Anybody else?
Good evening, DTM Robert Karanja.
Good evening.
This is Joshua Heri from Kigali, Rwanda. It's my pleasure to be here. Please forgive me, I won't be able to put on my video due to my environment. But I believe I've been here for some more times. I'm a repeated guest. If I'm to answer the question, I'll also add on that the color that would define a woman will be black. For one specific reason, I believe black is not a color, but it's a mother of all colors, where all we got the rest of the colors from. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Absolutely. That is quite brilliant. I usually paint a lot, and black is my go-to color when I make mistakes because it absorbs any other color. Absolutely. Black is the mother and combination of all colors. I think I'll give one final opportunity to Caroline. Kinyua, you had unmuted yourself.
Yes, good evening. Watabaruku Toastmasters. It's my pleasure to join your club for the first time and also do a role. And thank you for having me. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Is there a color that describes you?
Oh, yes. I'm pink, a pink person, and in Swahili we call it waridi, and the name waridi is such a good word. So I would want to know which other name we can give to it, because I got to learn a few words from Maggie. So that's my color, pink.
Absolutely. Waridi. There was one, I can't remember it, the one for Spanish cherry. I think that one comes close to Waridi. Thank you so much, Caroline, for joining us this evening. And thank you to all the rest of us who are joining us this evening. Before I introduce the Toastmaster of the day, a little bit of club business. The minutes of the previous meeting were shared by our secretary in the Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club members WhatsApp group. Are there any amendments that we would like to suggest to those minutes? If there are no amendments, are there any objections to us adopting those minutes as the true minutes of the previous meeting? There being no objections, we adopt the minutes as shared in the WhatsApp group. Members of Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club, please remember that we are in the renewal season. Please submit your renewals to the Secretary Treasurer, Serah Wanjiku. We would like to have this submitted by the end of March. And if you are interested in joining Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club, please reach out to our Vice President membership, Gilbert, Rutebemberwa. This is an excellent time for you to become a part of our community and grow with us. So please keep your videos on, especially during the prepared speeches, to offer visual, positive, and supportive feedback to our members. Tonight's meeting will be guided by our Toastmaster of the day, who will lead us through the prepared speeches, impromptu speaking, and evaluations, all tied together by our theme, the inner work of leadership. Our Toastmaster of the day this evening is Serah Wanjiku, past area director, and our club's sergeant, secretary, and treasurer, Her Royal Highness, with that main character energy. Please put your hands together to welcome Serah to the stage to lead this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. President, for that introduction. Before you leave, I have a question for you. What is your biggest asset?
My biggest asset, I feel, is my empathy, my compassion for the people that I work with. I feel like I understand the needs of people and I do my best to meet them.
True. I've worked under you and you are so right. Thank you for answering. Good evening, Toastmasters and our esteemed guests. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are happy to have you here at Watabaruku. How did I come up with this theme? I came up with this theme when one of my regular clients, as I was making her hair, and she's 1 year in her journey. And I said, how did we make these so little locks? How did we manage to do such tiny ones? And I meant that as a compliment in the best way possible. But it did not come out that way to her. She had like I was complaining, because she asked me, then why don't we combine them and make them bigger? And I realized that was a blind spot on my end. And it brought me to, how do we handle our businesses? How do we handle the people we lead? How do we handle where we are expected to lead? And this is how we came to this theme today. You will notice that I will use this book, Maggie. I don't know, because of my background where I can place it properly. Anyway, my background is not allowing me, but it is the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. Maggie Waithiru has been in that school. So in case I say anything that goes against that book, she will correct me. So in this book, I will ask our role takers a couple of questions. And why I did not post this in the group is because I really do not want us to overthink the questions I'm going to ask ourselves today. This is a theme that will put us in a space where we will self-evaluate ourselves. In an event, you feel triggered, because I know these are some of the things that may happen here are connected to a bit of psychology. We have an in-house psychologist, Dr. Rubia. You can see him. It is not for free. You will agree on the consultation that is going to charge you in an event that you feel this is quite a heavy session. I don't see your cameras on and I feel like I'm talking to myself. So I don't know if you're there, an emoji will do at this point. Thank you, Maggie, for that. So as our president let us know, this meeting will be divided into 3 segments. We'll have the first segment where our members will deliver prepared speeches, receive feedback through an audience poll. In the second segment, our Toastmasters and guests get a chance to practice impromptu speaking. And on the third segment, we'll listen to triple-tiered evaluations and reports from role takers, who I will now go ahead and introduce. Our first role taker this evening is our grammarian, who is Toastmaster Fred Ojil. I hope I have pronounced your name correctly. Toastmaster Fred, as you come on to introduce your role, kindly tell us, what is your biggest liability? Over to you, Fred.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. What is my biggest liability? I don't think I have a biggest liability, because that will mean that there's this singular item that defines liability, that is the challenges or the weaknesses or whatever it is. I think, like most human beings, it is circumstantial. It depends on the various events that happen, and I will most likely react based on the details of that particular moment. I am going to be your super grammarian this evening, and my role, I'm going to explain my role in a moment. So what is my role? My role is to listen carefully to everyone who is speaking. And some of the things that I will be looking for is: 1, excellent and improper use of the language, overused words and filler sounds, used as crutches, and then usage of the word of the day, which means it is now my honor to present to us the word of the day. The word of today is unflinching. It is pronounced exactly as I have said, unflinching. It is an adjective, and the words that have a similar meaning to it are determined, resolute, single-minded, decided, resolved, which then begs the question, what is the meaning of the word unflinching? Unflinching is not showing fear or hesitation in the face of danger or difficulty. For example, he has shown unflinching determination throughout the campaign. He has shown unflinching determination throughout the campaign. I'll share the same in the chat so that you can refer to it subsequently as the meeting goes on. Whenever someone mentions the word of the day or its derivatives, please acknowledge them by snapping your fingers or using the hand emoji in the chat. I will also present a brief language evaluation for each speech and give my full report when called upon. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fred. Our next role taker this evening is our timer, Toastmaster Fatma. Before you let us know what your role will be this evening, what is your highest high? What is your highest high at the moment? Over to you, Fatma.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. My highest high is just the blessing of health. The other day, I visited a colleague at the hospital, and I can tell you that for sure, if you are healthy, you have it all. On to my role in this meeting. As timer, it is my responsibility to ensure that we keep time using virtual backgrounds. I will maintain a blue background with the word timer, and I will change to green, yellow, and red, each displaying the word of the day unflinching. Prepared speeches and the general evaluator's report are 5 to 7 minutes. I will show green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6, and red at 7 minutes. The table topics and language evaluations are 1 to 2 minutes. I will show green at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. Content and delivery evaluations, as well as super grammarian report, are 2 to 3 minutes. I will show green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes. All others will appear in the polls. Only those within the qualifying times are eligible for awards. Therefore, aim to reach green and conclude within 30 seconds of red. A 30-second grace period applies before going under or over time, except for table topics where minimum is a minute.
I will keep my virtual hand raised for visibility. I will post each speaker's time in the Zoom chat and deliver my report when called upon. It is with unflinching determination that we will manage the resource of time. Allow me to show you the backgrounds that I will use as we move on in the meeting. That is the green, that is the yellow, and that is the red. Back to you, our TMOD.
Thank you, Timer. Our next role taker this evening will be our table topics master, who will be none other than Mineh Maina DTM. Toastmaster Mineh, before you let us know your role this evening, what is your most worthwhile emotion? DTM Mineh.
Good evening, TMOD. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. My most worthwhile emotion is joy. It carries me through anything, and you can tell by my smile. My role today is to run the adrenaline session of our experience. And I will take through the poll through questions, impromptu questions. This session helps people to practice listening, critical thinking, and impromptu speaking. So that when you're called abruptly in a meeting, would you lead us in a prayer? What do you think about this point? Then you're able to do that with ease and without flinching. If you're interested in taking part, please notify me through the private chat on Zoom, as I will also reach out to you as well. So stay tuned and look out for my messages so we don't waste time during my session. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you, DTM Mineh, for that. Our next role taker is our general evaluator, Toastmaster Heri. Before you let us know your role this evening, what is your best habit?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Serah Wanjiku. My biggest habit, I have quite good many, but I would love to say the biggest one is the daily morning and evening sport. Like I love jogging early morning, 4:30 a.m. Then in the evening, around 9:30 p.m., I have to do the double day morning. As a general evaluator for tonight's meeting, I'll be gladly evaluating the overall meeting, which composed by the three sections, as Madam Toastmaster of the Day mentioned, but mainly focusing on the role takers. What did they do best and what to improve for the next meeting? Back to you, Toastmaster Serah Wanjiku.
Thank you, Toastmaster Heri, for that detailed explanation. So inner work for a leader is the ongoing practice of self-awareness, self-regulation, and self-reflection. This evening, we are going to see or get a few points on how we can actually understand how we are as leaders. The things that sometimes we don't like taking feedback about. Maybe by the end of this meeting, we shall be better leaders, and that is my hope. One of the things that we can try doing is develop self-awareness. And how do we do this? Great leadership begins by knowing ourselves. Starting from the questions I've asked you this evening, and many more that we'll continue to ask ourselves. Some of the ways to practice this is daily reflection or journaling. I know as Africans, we fear journaling because we say, what if someone reads? What if I die? What happens to the book? But it's really, really good practice to journal and do it maybe at the beginning and at the end of the day. This way, your thoughts are more organized. You can also ask yourself at the end of the day, why did I react in a particular way? Maybe in a conversation, a confrontation, a conflict, or just a normal setup. Ask yourself before you sleep, did I react the right way? Why did I react like that? And try and get to the bottom of it. Identify your triggers, like what is your fear? What makes you angry? Sometimes it's something as simple as hunger that just doesn't work for you. So knowing these things that make you feel a certain way. What are your ego patterns as a person? What are your fears? Also, seeking honest feedback from trusted people. I believe that Toastmasters is one of the safe spaces that we get to practice this feedback. I hope that we'll be able to do these things tonight. We can start today, even if it is the third month of the year for most of us. We can start tonight. It's never too late to start. With that first nugget, we are going to go straight to our prepared speeches. Our prepared speeches tonight, we will have two speakers this evening. To introduce our first speaker, who is none other than Toastmaster Catherine Bosibori Arunyaru, is Toastmaster Caroline Kinyua. Toastmaster Caroline Kinyua, before you introduce our first speaker, I have a question for you. What is most fulfilling to you? Then you can introduce our speaker, Catherine. Toastmaster Caroline, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. What is fulfilling to me is the essence of living my purpose of putting a smile on the face of a child. Children go through a lot, but most of the time they lack the support that they need and deserve. But when I meet a child who's struggling with one issue or another, I'm able to help them and I see them smile and have a goal and the drive to live. I feel so much fulfilled. And tonight I have the privilege of introducing our first speaker, who is none other than Catherine Bosibori, who is undertaking a project to manage a successful event from level 5 of our path, leadership development. The purpose of this project is for Catherine to practice planning, organizing, leading, and implementing an event. Catherine will be sharing her experience planning, organizing, and implementing an event. She has 5 to 7 minutes to present her speech entitled A Book Launch. Help me welcome Catherine Bosibori. Book Launch, Catherine Bosibori. Catherine Bosibori, Book Launch. Over to you, Toastmaster Catherine.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I did something last year that most people only dream about. I launched a book. But what nobody tells you about launching a book is this. You don't just become a writer. You suddenly become an events planner, a marketer, a salesperson, and sometimes a professional WhatsApp spammer. And it all started when I lost my job. Suddenly, I had something very dangerous: time. And when you have time, you start asking yourself dangerous questions. Questions like, what have I always wanted to do, but never had time to do? to do, never had time for. One of them was rejoining Toastmasters. For the last 4 years, I was in a hectic job. And the simple answer for me at that point was write a book. Not just any book, but about my failures, my lessons, and the things I wish someone had told me when I was younger. So I started writing quietly, page by page. Then one day, at a random event, I met a friend for lunch. And she said to me something that changed everything. Catherine, Zion Publishers are inviting people to share or submit abstracts for a bounce back anthology. Then she said, you keep talking about comebacks. Why don't you try? So I did. 300 words. That was the requirement. 300 words that would decide if my story mattered. A few weeks later, the email came. My chapter had been accepted. And my editor then sent back my corrections, the corrections of my manuscript, covered in red marks. Now, let me tell you something about receiving feedback as an adult. It's not easy. But Toastmasters teaches us something powerful. We learn to face feedback with unflinching courage. Not defensive, not afraid, just ready to improve. And slowly, edit by edit, the chapter became better. But that is when I discovered something. Writing a book is hard, but launching a book is an event. And events are projects. Suddenly, we had planning meetings, we had communication plan spreadsheets, we had something called an event planning worksheet. We had a lot that we were working on. It had everything: venue, catering, microphone, projectors, all these things, flowers, decor. And something I had never thought about before launching the event. There were chair covers. Apparently, chair covers are very important because nothing ruins a literary evening like a naked chair. The launch date was on November 28th at Weston Hotel. And our objective was simple: launch the book, share our stories, celebrate resilience with the rest of the people who were going to come for the event. But organizing the venue was only half the work. The real challenge was communication. Because an event without people is just a meeting with snacks. So we created a communication plan. There were WhatsApp groups, LinkedIn, the meta world. And we tried to bring everybody on board, direct messages. We even had a billboard. But here is the truth about events. Posting online is not enough. You must invite people personally. And so I opened my phone. My phone book had about 2,000 contacts, and I started chatting people, started messaging 1 person, 10 people, 20 people, all in the hope that all of them would attend the event. By the end of the week, I felt like a political candidate campaigning for votes. Hello, I hope you're well. I just wanted to check whether you're going to attend my event, my book launch. And some people said, yes. And some people were very Kenyan. They said, well, we'll think about it. And what's crazy is that you keep hoping and planning. But the day came, 28th was here, and we showed up, lovely dresses, hair slicked back. We were happy to be there. And family showed up, friends showed up, support systems showed up. And after the event, I remember thinking to myself how the hardest part is over, but now what next? I was happy to talk about a lot of things. There was a panel discussion which got me talking about this book, The Bounce Back, and the comeback program that I have created, courtesy of that. Comeback being an acronym that stood for clarity, ownership, mindset, emotional intelligence. The beautiful thing about that whole plan is that I learned how to organize an event. And when I got back at the end of the event, I thought to myself, what next from here? Go back and finish my book, the one that I had always thought about writing, or rather the one that I was writing before the chance for the anthology came up. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Catherine. Such unflinch determination on that book writing. Congratulations, that is such an inspiration. Before you go, and as our Sergeant at Arms runs our audience poll, Catherine, I have a question for you. What do you prize most?
Family. Nothing covers you more than knowing that you have someone or people who will always have your back, no matter what.
Amazing. I totally agree on that. Thank you so much, Catherine. I hope we have all given Catherine the feedback, the audience, our guests. This is not for specific people, it is for everybody in this meeting. Let Catherine know how you found her speech and give the feedback as honestly and as kindly as you can. Thank you so much, Catherine. We will now move to our second speaker this evening, who will be Toastmaster Gilbert. Toastmaster Gilbert will be introduced by our second evaluator, Faith Mwaura. Toastmaster Faith, as you introduce our second speaker, I have a question for you. How do you show people that you value them? Toastmaster Faith.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. How do I show people that I value them? Time. time to listen to them, time to spend time with them, time to do what we all love. So that's how I show people that I value them. This evening, I am very honored to introduce our second speaker, who is Gilbert. And I said I'll give myself the challenge to pronounce his last name, Rutebemberwa. Gilbert is on his leadership development pathway, and today he is on level 5, project 1. This project is on managing successful events, and the purpose of the project is for Gilbert to practice on planning, organizing, leading, and implementing an event. His speech is to take 5 to 7 minutes. And now, Toastmasters and guests, Gilbert Rutebemberwa, graduation day. Graduation day, Gilbert. Over to you, Gilbert.
It feels like just yesterday when our little boy, Paul Oyesije, was being driven to school in the morning. Then we have to remember to pick him and take him back home in the evening. Those moments when waking them up together with his siblings, waking them up early in the morning, crying, trying to prepare them in time for school. I'm sure we have new young parents here who can identify with me. So those were the moments that I still had lingering in my mind. But whereas it was graduation day, and our little Paul was now graduating with a Bachelor's of Laws of Makerere University, Kampala, last month in February. What a joy for a parent to see this little child grow and become what you dreamt of. It's a dream come true. It's unbelievable. Words cannot express the feeling. So the day was 24th February when we had to escort him to Makerere University for his graduation. And as proud parents, we had to organize a party for him, just to honor him, to congratulate him, to identify with him in this success, because it's not only his success, but our success as well. So we agreed that since the week will be busy because the graduations run from Tuesday to Friday, we will schedule this graduation party stroke Thanksgiving on Sunday, 1st March, which is this month. We quickly set up a planning committee that would make sure that this function is a success. And the committee consisted of 4 people. The first person on the committee was myself, Gilbert Rutebemberwa, who would be the chair of the committee. I would foresee everything. And guess right, I would be the founder of this function, the sole founder. The second person on this committee would be my dear wife, Hope Rutebemberwa. She would be in charge of the venue, making sure that we find the right venue for the event. We find the right service providers for everything. We have all the amenities that we need to have a successful, a marvelous event. The third person on the committee would be our daughter, Par Chabalongo, who would be the publicity person on this committee, as well as the secretary. So as a publicity and secretary, she would keep the lists of the invited guests that we would agree upon. She would design the cards that we will send out to these invitees. She would track everything that we agree in that meeting and note it to make sure that we follow them through. for the success of this function. And the fourth, but not last person, would be Paul himself, the graduate, now the graduate. He would take care of the events at the university, making sure that the gowns are in place, the invitation cards for parents are there, making sure we have the right stickers, pack in the right place, and also take care of the photography. Since this is his day, he knows what kind of photos he would pose for. So we had a full committee and we were ready to get going. I must submit that the committee delivered a successful event, thank God. And how did we measure success? One of the things we looked at was the attendance of the members, of the guests that we invited. Of course, we had a struggle as a big family, the side of Gilbert, the relatives of Gilbert, who is mature now. All my siblings have children who have families. So where would ideally be inviting 2 people, we are now inviting 8 people, the siblings of my wife, our friends, my wife's friends, and also Paul's friends. So we had the challenge in agreeing whom to invite, but we were lucky that all the people we invited, totaling up to about 160, were able to attend, except for 4 people who sent in their apologies. The other way we measured success was through effective time management. At the function, we agreed that the function would start at 2 p.m. with a Thanksgiving service that would be led by Reverend. After that, at 3 p.m., 1 hour later, we would have lunch. At 4 p.m., we'll start on the speeches. By 6 in the evening, we should be done and completely done with the formal activities, and our guests would have quality time eating and drinking. Last but not least was the adequate food, delicious food and drinks, because the feedback we got from the guests was that everything went well, the food was delicious, everything was in plenty, and we bless the Lord for that. There are, however, challenges that come with it. One of the challenges is, of course, managing the guest list. The numbers kept increasing. We had hoped to start with 100, and like I said, we ended up with 160, almost double the number. The other challenge was coordinating the vendors. It's not easy. The vendor will promise one thing and deliver the other thing. So you have to keep a constant eye on the vendor. And that's one of the things that I had to practice, I had to put in place to make sure that we inspect what we expect. Nonetheless, we were able to learn lessons from this. We were able to do the planning, regardless of how small the event looks like. We were able to deliver a successful graduation party. We were happy parents, and our son was happy. We had a successful event thanks to the planning that went into this. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Congratulations, Gilbert, to you, your son, your wife. I can only imagine the joy that you feel right now, reaching that amazing, amazing milestone. May God continue looking over your son as he continues with his education. I'm now going to call upon our Sergeant at Arms to run our Better Speaker poll.
First of all, the audience feedback, please.
Okay, audience feedback.
Point of order, could we first run? Okay.
Kindly give Gilbert your feedback how you felt his speech was, encourage him, areas he can improve on. Do we have the audience feedback at this point? The better poll, the better speaker poll?
Yes, it's ready. We will flight it shortly.
Thank you. As we wait for that, as a leader, how do you do the inner work? Another pointer you can use is set the emotional tone of a room. How do you practice this? You pause before responding. The pauses we always say we use in Toastmasters, and especially in conflict. Also, notice the emotional patterns of others, the defensiveness, the urgency, the need to control. At times, the conflict is so severe that you actually need to practice breathing or just ground yourself to be able to handle the conflict well. Sometimes your inner work turns a reaction into a response. As we marinate on that, kindly note that your better speaker poll is on your screen right now. Vote for the speaker that you felt did amazing. Thank you so much, Sajeta Tams. We are now going to go to the second part of our meeting this evening, which is the table topics part of the meeting. So adrenaline-filled and fun. Guests kindly, when called upon, do not run away. This is a safe space where you can have fun and enjoy and even get the feedback. To lead us into this session is none other than Mineh Maina, DTM. Over to you, Mineh.
Thank you, TMOD. Our session today will be based on our theme, which is leadership. And for those who have not gotten a chance to speak, now is the opportunity to practice listening, critical thinking, and impromptu speaking, as I had said before. When you are called upon, please unmute and turn on your video if you can. Take a moment to think before speaking. It doesn't have to be the truth. Then you have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. You need to check the timer. Also, use the word of the day and conclude within 30 days of the timer's red virtual background. I have spoken to a few people who have already volunteered to speak, and our first speaker will be Anjeru, who is a visiting Toastmaster from Simba Toastmasters. And my question to you today would be, leadership often begins with self-reflection. What is one personal weakness you have had to confront before becoming a better leader? What is one personal weakness you have had to confront before becoming a better leader? Over to you, Anne.
Sorry, can you repeat again? Hello, Mineh, can you hear
What
me?
is one weakness you have had? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
What is one weakness you have had to confront before becoming a better leader?
Thank you so much for that wonderful question. And truly, I'm a reader where I work. What once I became a reader at my workplace, people tell me I'm an empath. So most of the time, even when my staff made mistakes, I was not really able to correct the correct way, because all the time I was being told I'm a woye person. I don't know how I can translate that. I really had to go on training. I really had to confront these beings overly empathetic, at least to be able to give leadership, to offer the best leadership in the company. And I was able to overcome that. And as I said today here, I've become a better reader, at least being able to balance being empathetic and also offering the leadership that I'm supposed to offer. Back to you, Mineh.
Thank you, Anne. Our second question will go to Winnie Marita. Winnie, what leadership lesson have you learned the hard way that now makes you laugh? What is one leadership lesson that you have learned the hard way that now makes you laugh?
Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests. One habit that I have learned, I don't think I've fully learned, but I still laugh about it. I think most of the time, I think it's active listening. I am learning to be a good listener, because for you to become a good leader, you have to listen to the people that you're leading in order to know their wants, their needs, and even sharing with you ideas and whatnot. So it is something that still makes me laugh, because every time, or sometimes when I'm talking to someone, I'll find myself cutting them short. I just laugh in my head because I'm like, wow, I'm working on this and I think it's not working. But I hope in future I'll be a better active listener. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Winnie. Our third question will go to Evans Odima. Evans, what is the most ridiculous leadership advice you have ever had? What is the most ridiculous leadership advice you have ever had?
Wow. The most ridiculous leadership advice I've ever had is that your word goes, and anything you say must be followed by the rest unconditionally. I think leadership is leading from the front and by example, and at times it is required of you to take points or rather opinions of the team you're leading and incorporate that. But if you act like a dictator or an authoritarian government where everybody has to follow what you say, sometimes it might not work. And your team might choose to even sabotage you. So incorporating views and opinions from the rest of the team is very important, as that will make the team feel that they are important in the team, and their views are indeed valued. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to ask my last question to a guest, Satish. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. Is Satish here? Okay, not there. Quickly for Songa, would you like to try a question?
Okay, then I'll hand
I'll
over
take a
the.
question. I'll take a question, please. Let me try one.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anson. Matthew, right?
I'll try.
Matthew, describe a moment when leadership required unflinching honesty, even though it was difficult. Describe a moment when leadership required unflinching honesty, even though it was difficult.
Members of the Toastmasters Club and the Toastmaster Tabletop Master. A warm good morning and good evening. I'm not sure, but it's a late night over here in India where I am. A moment of honesty. A leadership always stands with where you have your own people standing with you. A leader is not just the person who stands in the front. He is a person who will, he or she will be a person who will lead the entire team from everything from the back. Let's go back to the centuries. There was wars or something like that. But today, let's look into our corporate leaderships. Our corporate leadership, like our CEOs, CXOs, our whatever we are doing, like as a business owner or something like that, you have to have something that you need your team to be absolutely with you. Your accountant, your marketing team, your administrative team, everything should be lined in one way. So when are they lined together is when they can come and sit in your office and say to me, I will say, sir, or maybe if it is a lady, probably a madam, and they say, sir, madam, this is what is there. And they can have the freedom of saying whatever they want to say. I saw this, I can do this, I cannot do this, or this was a mistake, but can we? So this is something where overwhelmingly, as a leader, you accept, you approach. Because in my industry, I know like there could be even a slight mistake, could be a big mistake that can go down the line. Maybe governments can tax us on this. But somewhere, sometime, when they can say, I have done, this was an error, or it's human to error. And there was a small error there. And if we can just go ahead, set out that point. Over to you, tabletop.
Thank you very much, Matthew. And over to you, TMOD.
Thank you, DTM Mineh, for that unflinching part of the meeting that we really, really enjoyed. Kindly note that our table topics participants are on your screen, and you can vote for the better speaker. As we wait for that, Timer, I need clarification. Do we have some time for a health break, or we are way behind time?
We are slightly behind time. We may proceed
Continue.
with a break. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Timer. Our next nugget on how we can do that in our work as leaders is clarify our values. Do we even have values as individuals? I'd like to see some of the values that we have on our chat box. How about, because you just write them down and our chat master can read for us, Maggie, once people write what their values are, because leaders without clear values become inconsistent. Integrity, discipline, consistency. Thank you, Joyce. So what should you be asking yourself? Yes, I see commitment, Caroline Kinyua. What do you stand for? What will I never compromise? What kind of leader do I want to be remembered for or as? When values are clear, decisions become easier and trust continues, it increases. I see consistency is a big one for all of us. That's amazing because we struggle with that. I see Wagare is reliable. Amazing. Thank you, people. Keep them coming. This is a place where we will be accountable for all these things as leaders. At this point, we are going to go to the third part of this meeting, which is the evaluation part of the meeting, the feedback, the meat of this meeting. I'm going to introduce, just to let us know who will be evaluating what. I missed that as our speakers were speaking. You will notice we have triple tiered evaluation, and that is why we stand out as a club. For our first speaker, they will be evaluated by Caroline Kinyua, who will be evaluating the content of the first speech. Robert Karanja DTM will be evaluating the delivery of the speech. And for the language of the speech, we will have Fred Ojil. I'm now going to call upon the trio that will give our first speaker the feedback. Over to you, Toastmaster Caroline Kinyua, to start us off.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Catherine Bosibori, Book Lounge. And last year you did something that everyone had dreamt of doing, that is launching a book. Toastmaster Catherine, that was a good way of opening your speech, telling us what you dared to do the last year that was. You went ahead on sharing why or what led you to writing a book, that is, after you lost your job and you challenged yourself to go into book writing, how you shared your manuscript and the feedback that you received and the back and forth. That was a very good way to develop your speech from opening to body of your speech. You went ahead to share with us how the journey was until you were able to have a book launch, which you were preparing with help of a few people, family members, friends, and even went all ahead in inviting people, almost becoming like a political aspirant and spamming of WhatsApp groups. That was a way to develop your speech from the opening, body, and finishing how the event went and what you felt was a success in your event planning. You incorporated humor in your speech, whereby you said that you spammed WhatsApp groups. You became a marketer, and that made us keep listening and paying interest to your speech. That was the part that brought some excitement to the audience. And I can tell that your structure, organization, and material supporting your speech was good, because at some point you even showed us your book that you had launched. That was well done, Toastmaster Catherine. I feel that you did an excellent job on developing that speech. You met your purpose, that was sharing or explaining an experience of organizing and implementing an event. Well done, Toastmaster Catherine Bosibori. And now I'll add over to DTM. Anthony. No, DTM Robert. Over to you to give your report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Catherine, for that. It was a great pleasure for me to be evaluating Toastmaster Caroline. It was a great pleasure for me to be evaluating you, Catherine, this evening as well. And I'll be focusing on your delivery. While I was not able to observe your gestures and your body language much because of the camera placement, I did get to observe quite a bit about your facial expressions and the use of your voice. And what did I like about your speech? First of all, I loved how you were able to demonstrate the different emotions that you're feeling at different points in your speech using your eyes and your eyebrows. So when you're feeling a difficult emotion, you would need your eyebrows to demonstrate the distress that you are feeling. And I thought that was quite well done. In addition to that, you had a confident voice which was loud enough throughout, and that confidence demonstrated credibility to me in terms of what you were talking about. In addition to that, I thought the pace that you adopted for the delivery of your speech was excellent. It allowed me with enough pauses between the sentences, after each of the sentences in the different sections of your speech. And it made following what you were talking about quite easy for me. Areas that I thought that you could have done different in future. I felt that while the steady pace was easy to follow, it was too steady, so that it became like there was a steady pitch, there was a steady pace, and a steady volume quite throughout the speech. And I thought that there were opportunities for you to demonstrate some variety. So, for example, when you're talking about the 300 words that you are required to deliver for your chapter to be accepted, you could have raised the voice or spoke slower to emphasize the 300 words. Or when you're talking about one person, 10 people, 20 people that you needed to call, again, raising your voice for that emphasis to make it significant how much you needed to reach out to people. And finally, another area of that you might consider doing different is showing surprise using your voice. And so when you're talking about the different things that you are required to put together to make the event a success, for example, chair covers, like it's unbelievable and it's surprising. And I thought that it was an opportunity for you to demonstrate that using your voice. In conclusion, I thought you clearly formed your words. It was so easy for me to understand everything that you were saying, and you adopted a pleasant tone, which made it easy for me to keep listening to you throughout your speech. So I thought expressing emotion using your eyebrows and excellent pace, confident voice, improve on varying the pace, and also showing surprise with your voice. Great job in terms of using clearly formed words. Back over to you, Mr. Super Grammarian, to give us her language evaluation. Fred Ojil, over to you.
Thank you very much. Catherine Bosibori, you are a storyteller, and in your storytelling, a number of things came about. One is you are able to paint a very elaborate mental picture by use of words that create imagery, and that came out very well. As the grammarian, I was also looking at the choices of words that you used to ensure that you are talking to your audience. You are not using words and phrases that we could not connect to. What are some of the things that I picked that you could work on? Most of them are just how to rephrase some of the words that you used. At the beginning, when you are being introduced, I was hearing of book launch, not really book launch, book launch. And then subsequently, when you came by, I got to know, it was indeed a book launch. I hope you get the difference. A lounge is a place, a launch is the event that you are having. The phrase, some of the phrases that you could have used differently, you talked about you don't just become an author. I think you wanted to emphasize that there was more. So you could probably consider rephrasing it to being an author requires more than simply writing a book, something like that. Suddenly, I had something dangerous time. You could have considered rephrasing them to all at once, I was armed with a dangerous surplus of time, or something simpler like a new danger emerged, idle time. It emphasizes it in a different way. Two other phrases that you could have considered. Then one day, okay, you could have considered using eventually at some point. Now, let me tell you something I would like to point out. I could go on and on. I will share with you some details on your individual evaluation. However, I think as a storyteller, you took us through your journey well and you used the language appropriately. Back to you, Toastmaster Green.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fred, and your team. That was deep evaluation, and thank you for even using the sandwich method. Very inspirational. I'm now going to call upon the second team of evaluators to give Gilbert his feedback. This will be Toastmaster Faith Mwaura, who will be evaluating content, Toastmaster Joyce Kibe, who will be evaluating delivery, and Toastmaster Fred Ojil, once again, who will be evaluating language. Over to you, Toastmaster Faith.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Let me start with a confession. When I read the title, Graduation Day, I expected maybe kindergarten graduation or primary school, maybe at the highest secondary school. Lo and behold, without flinching, it was university. Congratulations, Gilbert. I loved how you introduced us to this graduation by taking us back. It feels like yesterday. And the emotions of bringing up your son were contagious. I could feel it. I could feel the journey that you walked with this son, with your son, and no wonder the pride in getting to this graduation day. Congratulations to you. You moved on swiftly to let us know how you organized this graduation. What a powerful family that the chair of the committee, the person in charge of the venue, the person in charge of publicity and photography were all from the same family. You have a wonderful family. Maybe you should take that as a side hustle to be organizing other events. I loved how you brought to us the roles and responsibilities of each and every one in your family members. Another beautiful thing about the content you shared with us is even how you measured success. That's quite commendable. You told us your success measures. You had key performer, what do you call it? KPIs. You actually had key performance indicators in telling what went well for your graduation. You even mentioned the challenges, and that was wonderful. And your conclusion at the end of the day was a successful graduation. To use your words, you said, successful graduation, happy parents. And we could see that. Maybe one thing that you would consider to make it even better. You talked about the roles and responsibilities of each of your family member, and I was curious to hear about the chair and the funder, how you did it. How did you do it? I was curious to know about that. So bringing your role into the story would have made the difference. All in all, wonderful storytelling, wonderful body in terms of the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. And if you add that into your next speech, it will be marvelous. Over to you, Toastmaster Joyce Kibe, for the delivery part.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests, and especially Gilbert. Today, you took us on a journey, and I must admit, I enjoyed every bit of it. First and foremost, your physical presence. We could see your bottom up, so your body gestures were visible. We could see what you're saying, what you're implying, the emphasis that you are trying to give us. Like, for example, when you're counting for us, who was the chairperson, who was responsible for graduation, you pointed out using your hands. So this was possible to be evident because we could see you bottom up. Another thing that I noted, you had good eye contact. We were able to connect with you because the place that you're standing, we were able to see you very clearly. You are also able to move from one side to the other, so utilizing the Zoom presence very well. Your voice too was well projected. We could hear you. Your network was excellent, and I believe it's also because part of it, you were able to join the meeting early to test your microphone. So very well done. You are enthusiastic in how you delivered your speech. You had inflicted determination to ensure that we felt what you're saying, that this graduation was really part of you. You are really personalizing it. And yes, well done, even in how the organizing came along and your family. Kudos to that. So what did I feel that you could improve? I felt like you overused your hands. Every sentence that you spoke, you expressed it. So maybe you would consider putting your hands on the side to just avoid maybe overusing it, or just in front. But the use of hands can sometimes disrupt the audience because you're trying to move them on your right, on your left, in front. So we may end up concentrating with your hands and miss out on the message. Also, you had opportunities to raise your voice. Like, for example, when the event went very well, you'd raise your voice a bit. I felt your speech was monotone, so you could raise your voice when maybe things went well, maybe when the graduation day was here and everything went very well, you would raise your hand. All in all, you had excellent Zoom presence. Your eye contact was well done. You could hear your voice very well. And even the use of gestures, that was excellently used. So with the improvement of just having to vary in your pitch and also not overusing your hands, you will deliver even an excellent speech. Well done. And passing the baton to our super grammarian, Fred Ojil. I hope I got that right. Over to you.
Indeed, you got that right. Gilbert, you took us through the journey of how you celebrated the graduation of your son. And listening to your language, I looked for your sentence structure and flow, and I feel that you are very concise. You got to the point without rambling. Also, your word choices, you decided that you'll tell your story in simple, clear choice of words, and that really helped in your delivery. What are some of the things that you could improve on? Most of it is how you phrased various phrases in your narration. You talked about what a joy for a parent to see this little child. It is okay, it's fair, but you could also consider what a delight for a parent to behold the young one graduating or something. Same, but adds a little weight to it. Another phrase you use, just to honor him. Fair. However, you could also have considered as a gesture of respect or to honor him or congratulate him. Another phrase, the sole funder, which I think is grammatically correct. Could also have talked about the exclusive financer. The fourth, but not the last, I think you know where I'm headed to, not the least. And then last is you talked about totaling 100 and you let it hanging. I think you meant totaling 100 people. Otherwise, listening to you, I enjoyed your story and I think you made good use of the English language. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, our team of evaluators, for a job well done. I'll request Toastmaster Joyce Kibe. I feel she's the only role taker we don't know more about. Toastmaster Joyce, one quick question. What do you make sure you do daily for your growth?
So what I do every single day, I will give 2 areas, both my personal and in Toastmasters. I have purposed every single day to give 15 minutes for Toastmasters every day, to check on the website or just do something about Toastmasters. This is something I also emphasize on my club members, to just take time to learn something. On my personal level, every single day, I have time to read my Bible. I'm doing a program with CITAM, so I have 1 hour every morning between 4:30 and 5:30 to do my devotion. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Joyce. We now know something about you. You will notice that all these deep questions that we are asking ourselves this evening, in an event, you feel that there's an answer, like there's an idea. For example, the way Joyce said that she takes 15 minutes for Toastmasters. You feel it's a good idea, steal it. Steal the good ones to make yourself feel better and be better. For those who are taking notes, I have noticed that we got the best evaluator poll. Kindly vote for the best evaluator. I will add another nugget on Inner Work for Leaders. This is examine your relationship with power. You as a leader must understand how you hold your power. This means reflecting on, do you control or do you empower? Do you listen to dissenting voices? Do you need to be right or do you want the best outcome? This is powerful given your interest in authority and also in leadership dynamics. A couple of difficult questions, but necessary ones. Also, how do you strengthen your inner stability? Once you understand your external leadership, it has to work hand in hand and align with your internal leadership. So how do you practice this? Some choose to meditate, or you can call it the quiet time. Others choose to pray. Just take time to be quiet, quiet your mind, quiet your thoughts. Physical movement and nature walks. These are very, very important. I read somewhere that depression, stress, and other negative things we talk about do not like a moving target. So once you make sure that your body is moving, you will be on your way to being even a better leader. Do you have digital boundaries and mental rest? These are questions you ask yourself. I would like to see on the chat box if these are things that we do and practice as Toastmasters and even as our guests. Because inner stability allows leaders to remain calm during chaos. Thank you for being amazing, amazing audience. We reach a point where we will call upon our role takers to give their reports. Our timer has already posted the timings on the chat box. Thank you so much, timer, for that. So we'll go straight to our super grammarian, Toastmaster Fred Ojil, who will give us the report on how we did with the ink on the King's language this evening during the meeting. Over to you, Fred.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Our word of the day was used at the beginning when it was introduced, and subsequently most of us stopped using it. So TMOD, I had you use word of the day twice. Caroline, I had you use word of the day once. I may have missed a few, here and there, but I suppose that's an accurate picture of the use of the word of the day from the time I started tracking it. The speakers, none of you was able to use the word of the day, unflinching. In relation to use of filler words, there's a common filler word that the Toastmaster of the day used, and that is so. So is a common term that is used at the beginning of a sentence. I propose that you get to the sentence without necessarily using so. As you are super grammarian, I had a responsibility of the language and to also look for use of filler words and all, but I have to admit that I did not fully utilize that. I think in the plan of the club, they are merged together. I think I spent more time on the Grammarian report, and so I may have missed out on some of that. I also did not have adequate time to compile my report, so I think my written report may have a lot more detail than this delivery. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Super Grammarian. We appreciate you for the service that you have given to our club. I'm going to call upon our general evaluator to give us their reports on how we did in the meeting. Toastmaster Heri, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Serah. Please confirm I am audible.
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, if you really enjoyed the amazing session conducted by our only Toastmaster of the day, Serah Wanjiku, please drum rolls and send some emojis to appreciate the energy. Thank you so much. Well done for the amazing work done here. I'll start my general evaluation right from the beginning. I love the fact that the entire team was well equipped from the practices for the game that we played on the beginning. Thanks to Maggie Waithiru for the amazing work done. Thanks to DTM Robert Karanja for conducting the opening of the meeting. To the fellow role takers, the speech evaluators, your feedback was very brief, reflective, and supportive. I recommend that, and please, thank you so much. To the tag team, the timer, the R counter, or we didn't have one, but the grammarian was in the room. I'll combine your evaluation in a such way that I love the fact that your introduction was amazing, timer. You showed us the cards and all the equipment and explained the timing protocols in the room, which was amazing. Your timer cards were clearly visible. And I would recommend next time we can have your cards pinned, especially if you're the co-hosts or I don't know the technical terms, but I would love to see if you pinned in the between so that we can see your cards clearly. Thank you so much for the amazing, our super grammarian. Well done for the reports all the way, start from the beginning to the end. It was amazing. To the role takers like Mineh, the table topic, your session was amazing. Very brief, reflective, and you gave the time to the respondents to think of their questions, which started from the introduction. This is what I'll be doing. And the fact that you reached before to the people to speak to you saved much of our time. Thank you so much for that. And kudos to you. To our Toastmaster of the day, as I'm concluding my general evaluation, thank you so much for having the nuggets of wisdom to share with us. Your audience engagement was amazing. Absolutely. We could now hear for the transition from section to section, and I'm sure that everybody is going home with a thing or two from your session. Thank you so much to the entire Watabaruku Toastmasters Club. Appreciate the trust that you entrusted in me and the power invested in me. I'll handle the speech back to the Toastmaster of the day, which is Serah Wanjiku. Thank you so much, Serah. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Heri. Your name is beautiful, for that heavy and inspiring and encouraging report to us, members of Watabaruku. We hope to see you again. As I conclude on our theme this evening, a few more nuggets that you can add for those who are taking notes is confront your ego. How do you do this? You watch out, because ego can sabotage leadership. So watch out for your need to be validated, difficulty admitting mistakes, taking criticism personally. Someone tells you your dress, oh, then you start, oh, they don't like me, they are jealous. Some of these things we do them sometimes unknowingly. Leaders doing inner work ask, is this about the mission or is this about ego? Something else you can attempt, practice courageous honesty. Inner work includes facing uncomfortable truths about yourself. The question to ask for you to know where you are at is, where am I avoiding responsibility? Where am I leading with fear? Where am I shrinking or overcompensating? Once you're able to answer this, growth often sits on the other side of the discomfort. As I conclude, align your inner and outer leadership. The ultimate goal of your inner work is congruence. This is your values, your words, your decisions, your behavior. They should all align. And with that amazing audience, that marks the end of my theme this evening. This book has made us do the rule of reflection. You can Google it on the John C. Maxwell book of the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. I don't know if you can see it, but yes, that's the color. And go straight to the rule of reflection. It will help you in your leadership. It will help you in your relationship. It will help you in places that you feel you struggle in your people skills. I have enjoyed it myself. I hope you have too. I hope you've learned something new. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here up to this time. And I now hand over the meeting to the presiding officer. Over to you, Mr. President.
Serah, Wanjiku, for that amazing meeting. Let us put our hands together, use those emojis to appreciate the fun and educational time that Serah has helped us have this evening. She's taught us so much. You've taught us how to connect better with the people that are around us in our relationships, the people that we are leading, and we truly appreciate you for that. All those questions that you asked us, even it gives us an opportunity to actually reflect on the questions that you asked other people in the meeting. And thank you so much for sharing those lessons with us and sharing that book with us. Definitely something to add to our libraries as we grow as leaders in different areas of our lives. Thank you so much once again, Serah Wanjiku, for an amazing meeting this evening. I will go right into announcing the results of the polls for this evening. First up, we have the best table topics speaker. Yes, Ali. Okay, it might be an error. First up, the best table topics speaker, we have Anson Matthew. Congratulations. Sitting down to sharing the certificate. Good job. The best evaluator is Faith Mwaura. Congratulations. And finally, the best speaker this evening, Gilbert Rutebemberwa. Congratulations on a great speech. Thank you so much, everyone. Make sure you pick up your certificates before you leave. We are going to post them in our group. Thank you so much, Sergeant at Arms Ali Makori, for that. We would also like to recognize several of our members for completing their levels. First up, we have Dr. Kevin Rubia on his completion of level 1 in engaging humor. Congratulations on completing your level, Kevin Rubia, and Gilbert Rutebemberwa on completing his level 3 and 4 of the leadership development path. Congratulations to you, Gilbert, on that achievement. I would also like to remind our members once again that we need to submit our dues before March 30th. Please reach out to our secretary, Serah Wanjiku. And if you'd like to become a member, please reach out to Gilbert Rutebemberwa for details on how to do that. I would like to give an opportunity to our Vice President Education to tell us if there are any roles that he would like to fill before our next meeting. Kevin, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm looking for 2 delivery evaluators. In case you are available and interested, please reach out to me via private chat. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. Yeah, please, members and also guests, please feel free to reach out to Dr. Kevin Rubia if you would like to take part to be one of those evaluators. Our next meeting is going to be on the 27th of March, the same place and same time. In addition to that, we are going to have the Area 15 speech contest tomorrow. It's going to be a hybrid meeting online as well as at CPF House in Nairobi. It's going to start at 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. That is East African time. Please log in to support our contestants. We have Dr. Kevin Rubia representing us, as well as Ali Makori as well. I think so, yes. Who are going to be representing our club at the area contest.
Point
Please
of order.
join that. Yes.
Point of order. Let's all turn up to support Dr. Rubia.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much.
Higher aspirations have knocked me off the contest.
Okay. I can relate to that absolutely. All right, let us log in to support Dr. Kevin Rubia on his, as he battles it out tomorrow morning. Guests, we'd like to hear your feedback, your impressions to help us grow as a club. What do you think about our meeting? I would like to give an opportunity to one or two of us to tell us their thoughts. Any of the guests who would like to share, how did you find our meeting this evening? We would really love to see you back in future. Yes, Anson.
Yeah.
Then Dorcas,
Hi,
then
President.
Rehema.
Hi, President of Calcutta Toastmasters. It was truly an enjoyable meeting. I really enjoyed both the speakers, prepared speakers, where they shared their stories, and especially with Gilbert with his graduation day, the preparation, it actually took me back to thinking of my wedding day. The amount of organization, the amount of things, it was a wonderful speech. And the tabletop is wonderfully done. Thank you very much. It was one over the other. Everything was kind of relatable. And also with the evaluation, that is the first time that I've seen a triple structured evaluation that goes through, because in our meetings, we usually don't get time, or we try and cut short the meeting to 90 minutes. So when we had the triple evaluation, I really, really loved it. I really loved, especially Toastmaster Fred, how he evaluated so many things, and it was a wonderful. Not only him, but all the 3 evaluators. It was wonderfully done, and there's something that I will try and follow up in my club. But always a time of this. So definitely, thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to seeing you sometime in the future. And also, you're welcome to meet my club on Thursdays. Thursdays at 2 or
Right.
Over to you.
Thank you so much, Anson. We hope to see you in future at our club, and we also hope to join you at your club meeting. Please put the details in the chat for us to look at them and to save them. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Dorcas, over to you.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the meeting, especially being that I'm in a new club. Having been recently elected as the president, I have learned a lot from this experience, and I would also love an opportunity to participate in future meetings, not just as a passive listener, but as an active participant as well. The meeting was very well organized. The flow was very good. The TMOD was just giving us tips the whole meeting. It was a very nice meeting. I've taken notes. The speakers were very well organized. The evaluations, I've learned a lot from start to finish. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Dorcas, for joining us. Congratulations on your election as president and on the charter of the club. Absolutely would love to have you participate in our future meetings. Please feel free to reach out to Kevin Rubia. Kevin, please, get her contacts, and hopefully we'll see her again. Finally, Rehema Charles.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. I love everything that I've seen. The speakers of the day, they were wow. And I know I'm going to join this club. It is a good club. It is a good community. And I hope I will have your support. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Definitely will have you will have our support. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you so much for the intention to become part of our community. We look forward to having you with us. Thank you so much to all the rest of our guests. A big thank you to all our members, visitors. Yes, Heri, Joshua.
Thank you so much, DTM. I'm just coming in for the good gospel of Tikkun as a Rwandan representative, and Rwanda being the host country, I'm spreading the good news of Tikkun, and I can't wait to welcome everybody in Kigali in May 15th this year. Please come all and come and join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Heri. Absolutely. Definitely, we look forward to meeting all of you in person in Rwanda, Kigali on the 15th of May. Let us all buy our tickets, plan our travel, have fun with the rest of East Africa on that great event of our annual conference as a district. Thank you so much, Heri, for that. Thank you so much to all the other visitors for joining us this evening. Thank you to our members for taking up roles, for visiting Toastmasters on the roles that they took up. Our next meeting is going to be on the 27th of March. It's going to happen online. It's going to be at the same time, 7 p.m. East African time. We look forward to seeing you all again. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Have a great weekend. Have a great night. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.